have a lot to say. Next week, I will put out my forecast for 2018. And while we're on that subject, I had one I've almost nailed exactly, gold. I predicted it would go up 10% in 2017. It's up 8.9% as I record this on Tuesday, December 19th. So we're very close on gold. Where I really messed up is I predicted that silver would be 12% up for the year, and it's less than 1% up. But what's interesting, if you go back to the first quarter of 2017, we saw silver go up nearly 15%, and then the rest of the year it went down 14%. There's one thing I may or may not have ever mentioned on this show, is there's a group of investors I've dealt with for over 25 years that buy metals, and especially silver, in December, and they sell it in March or April. I just looked up, if they had done that last year, the first quarter of 2017, silver went up 14%, and even with the cost of getting in and out, they still would have been up about 11% net. And then they kind of go away, and then they come in with large amounts. And one of them will make a major purchase next week because we've already talked about it, and there'll be many others that will follow. So what we do know, if you look at back over the last many years, 15 years, 10 years, the first quarter has been an up year for gold and silver every time. I mean, every time. There may be an exception here or there. I can't remember for 100% accuracy, but I can tell you now is a time that a lot of professionals are buying silver and gold, and then in the first quarter they reevaluate it to see if there's anything that could cause it to go down. So anyway, we'll make my predictions next week on gold and silver. And the other one that I missed so bad this year was palladium. It's up 35%, and I was calling it a 10% up last year, so I way underestimated it. And platinum has been about 5%. I think, I don't remember exactly what I had on that, but it was basically the same. So it was a kind of a different year, but one that was very solid in return. And like I said, next week I'll get into making my predictions on gold and silver, palladium and platinum, and I'll give you a quick reason why and what I'm watching that leads me to believe these prices are going up. So we'll get that next week. The last thing I want to do this week, besides thank you as our listeners and our customers and all the nice emails we get, and some not so nice, but that's okay. That's part of being in business, and we don't mind people having different opinions than we have. But that doesn't change me. I have my beliefs both in business and living life and what's important in life, as do most people. But what I want to talk about now is one of my pet peeves, and that is asset allocation. It kills me when somebody calls asset allocation stock, bonds, and cash. I mean, the original asset allocation is found in Ecclesiastes 11:2, to divide your wealth 7 or 8 ways, because no man knows what disaster will come upon the land. There's no reason to ever change it. That is asset allocation. And I used to work with a firm that used me specifically back in the 90s and early 2000s. And what they had was a system where they put 20% in 5 different investments. They had 20% in stocks, 20% of their assets in bonds, 20% in cash equivalents, 20% in precious metals, and 20% in real estate. One of them took out cash and put in foreign currency. Because like last year, if you'd had your money kept in money market in euros, you'd be up like 6 or 7% just by having your money out of dollars. And next year is going to be a big year, in my opinion, of the dollar going down. So one way to do it is every year you rebalance it. If your stocks became 25% of your portfolio, you move those out and put into something that cycled down, let's say silver. So you're always having an adjustment, or you can get into a more dynamic form where you want to allocate it yourself, but you still keep 5 different baskets. You may have 50% in stocks, 5 or 10% in bonds because they've been doing horrible the last year as interest rates have gone up. You may have the 20% in metals. You may have 10% in foreign currencies, different cash equivalents, euros or sterling pounds or Australian dollars or whatever. So what I say to you is having all your money in stocks and bonds and cash is not asset allocation. I've seen that bomb drop too many times in my 42 years of doing this, and started as a financial planner, 72 to 74, and then 2 years later I founded this company in 1976. So anyway, I want to get that pet peeve, and we know that everything cycles. If stocks were the greatest thing, how come from 2000 to 2017, gold's gone from 256 to 1300, 5.5 times up, including the down years of 2012, 13, and 14. But the stock market's gone from 16,000 to 24,000. You're already talking about 50% in over that 17 years. So you've got to diversify, and I can assure you as we move into it, and I'll get into it more for the reasons I'm predicting gold to have a great year, better than 10%. I'll tell you that, so you'll definitely want to listen next week to hear. But remember, there are cryptocurrencies being worked on that will be backed by gold. And every time somebody moves money out of a bank account and into a cryptocurrency backed by gold, they're going to have, the people issuing the currency are going to have to buy gold to back it up, and also it'll have to be audited on a monthly basis to be sure they're doing what they advertise. So we see billions of dollars going into gold the next 2 or 3 years coming out of banking accounts that are fiat currency, money by decree, backed by nothing except the FDIC that has 3 or 4% assets based on how much they're insuring. So we'll have a very interesting end next week. So anyway, in the meanwhile, I can tell you that I will be buying silver now. I am going to predict a good number on silver next week. But like I said, I missed it in this year, but it gives you more slingshots for the ones of you that didn't buy silver, don't have a lot of silver. It is time to back the truck up and load up on silver, and I'll get into that next week. But a lot of them are buying now while premiums are low. If you want to reach us, you can reach us at 800-247-2812. That's 800-247-2812. Or you can talk to Dan or Kathleen and I if you want to have your money into a self-directed precious metals IRA. We can be your broker and representative and help you get that set up, what percentage gold and silver. And as you all know, I don't have to get into, but I will mention it in closing, we still charge the lowest round trip in the industry. We were evaluating, I was doing for a lawyer the other day, a telemarketing firm, that they were telling me how much they'd cut their commissions from 33 to 24% for the same things we charge 2.5% or 3. And then they charge you a commission on the back end of half of that when we charge you nothing if you bought it from us. And plus, we have the lowest storage fees. I mean, our storage fees are unbelievable. If you haven't checked in, we can send you a brochure. You'll just ask for it by calling the 800 number. But we now have IDS Delaware, IDS Canada, IDS Texas, and then those are the 3 that we use the most because of the special storage rates we have that are too low for us to mention on this show. We're to tell you to call us, and we'll explain it and send you a brochure. So that way you don't have to take, when you're ready to sell it, you don't have to pay shipping charges to send the metal back. You can just have it moved from your account to whichever wholesaler we sell it to for you as with no fee. So if you haven't done that, you need to check with us. I want to wish each one of you a Merry, Merry Christmas as we celebrate the birth of my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, and hopefully yours. But we'll get into the final predictions for 2018 next week. With this week's Precious Metals Market Update, this is Tom Cloud signing out.